Hello, ladies. It's Renee, host of the Welcome to Your Life podcast. Have you thought of recording your own podcast, but the thought of learning new technology was too frightening? I know exactly how you feel. That's how I felt until I found Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and it's free. You can record from your phone or your computer, and the creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Trust me, you will not regret it. You are listening to the award-winning Welcome to Your Life, Midlife Made Easier podcast. WTYL is a lifestyle podcast for women juggling midlife, self-care, and work-life balance. I am your host, Renee Reed. As a certified health and life coach, I help midlife women lose weight without dieting. Instead, we focus on healing mindsets, boosting self-confidence, and refocusing wellness goals. Are you ready to live the life you deserve? On today's show, we are talking about something that may be a little bit uncomfortable. How to feel your feelings. Let's get started. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the show. Today we're talking about something that a lot of us try to avoid, our feelings. And I understand. No one wants to sit down and really examine how the way we feel is affecting our lives. But in order to move forward, to become the women that we have been called to be, we have to start to dissect the things that are going on inside of our heads and how those feelings, those thoughts, those feelings, those beliefs are affecting the way we move forward in the world. The world is in chaos right now, and it's scary and it's overwhelming, and probably like me, you've been holding your breath as every one of your body's senses has been bombarded by emotions too quick to process. So let's take a collective breath. Let's take a moment right now to sit and breathe. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat, relax your shoulders, plant your feet firmly on the floor, close your eyes. Place your left hand on your belly and your right hand on your chest. Take a deep breath through your nose, feeling the rise and fall of your belly and chest as you exhale. And let's do this 3 times. So inhale through the nose and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. And once more, inhale and exhale. And if you have time, sit for a moment and just feel the awareness of the stillness that is around you. Let that relish in that for a few moments. And you can always come back to this whenever you're feeling stressed or, You just need a moment of quiet. Breathing is a wonderful way to anchor our mind and to identify what's going on in our bodies. You know, over the last 12 weeks, your mind, if it's anything like mine, has been in constant motion. And I would bet a butter pecan iced coffee that you are emotionally, financially, and spiritually exhausted. Because we're living in unprecedented times. Isn't that what the news keeps telling us? We've been hit by a global pandemic that has killed over 120,000 people in the United States alone, left 40 million Americans unemployed. Each day we hear of police shootings or police brutality that has sparked nationwide protest. And we're just tired. As women of a certain age, though, we have become very adept at hiding our feelings because, after all, we've been told that dealing with your feelings is a little selfish, especially when the whole world is depending on you to keep it together, right? So we pack our feelings away in a little box, and we promise that we're going to unpack them later. Well, my friend, later is now. And the truth is, you know, a lot of us were never taught how to unpack our feelings. Our parents came from a generation where that stuff was fluffy and it was for rich folks and, you know, working class people like us. We powered through. No matter how much pain you were in, no matter how disappointed you were, no matter how much someone hurt you, you kept going. My mother always said, what happens in this house stays in this house. And I kept that buried in my psyche for the longest time, even telling it to my own children. And so instead of unpacking how I was feeling, even before this unprecedented time of pandemic and riots and police shootings, I just kept everything bottled inside. But what we don't realize is that what's inside has to come out, and it comes out in unhealthy ways sometimes. Through overeating, drinking too much, sitting in front of the TV for hours on end, just trying to zone out. Shopping, does that sound familiar to anyone? I have a friend who is addicted to QVC and has tons of stuff in her closet with the tags still attached. Some of it she will never use, but at the moment of purchase, it just sounded like a good idea or felt like a good idea. But these are all the ways that we mask how we feel. Our body is trying to tell us something. It's trying to get us to open up those repressed feelings and process that anger, that disappointment, that hurt, that pain. And instead, we keep masking it with more food and more Netflix and more shopping trips and more alcohol and more drugs and more sleep and more surrounding ourselves with people who do not feed into our spirit but are constantly taking away from it. Right? So this week, I want to invite you to do a little exercise. And it may be scary because feeling your feelings is not an easy task. When you are forced to process feelings that you've been numbing out on for, years and years, it can be a little daunting. Especially when that hurt, frustration, pain, sadness, and anger come flooding through. But it's okay. Feeling your feelings will allow you to be vulnerable, and that takes bravery. That takes courage. That is what it takes to thrive. So, this week, your assignment is this. You're going to sit in a quiet place. You're going to use the breathing exercise that we did in the beginning to anchor your mind. And this process can be as long or as short as you would like. The important thing is to start. Set the timer for 10 minutes if you need some visual clue that you're actually doing the work. And just write. We're free writing. There's no right or wrong way to process. This is not the, high school essay where you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We're just writing. You're just writing how you feel at that moment. And maybe some old feeling will pop up and you write that down. And do this every single day for however long you want to do it. So if you choose 5 minutes, take 5 minutes, free write for 5 minutes. And then once the timer goes off, sit back and take a look at what you've written. Look at how those feelings show up in your body. Where do you feel the pain of that hurt, that sadness, that disappointment? Is it in your belly? Is it in your heart? Is it in your head? Examine the pain. Don't be afraid to examine it and call it out. And then use the breath to work through the pain. This is a powerful exercise that will help you to identify what it is you're feeling and how those feelings show up in your body, how they show up in your space. Are you yelling at coworkers? Are you binging on TV for hours on end? Do you have headaches? Are you shutting yourself off from family and friends? Are you eating in secret? That actually used to be one of my coping strategies, eating in secret. Although my kids always knew because they could smell the cookies baking when they went to bed. But are you overspending? Let's start to feel our feelings. Let's start to give ourselves permission to take a look at the things that are crowding our space, crowding our creativity, crowding our financial power, and move it. Because we are of a certain age, We are midlife women who don't have to take crap anymore. We can live the lives that we want. We can design our lives. We have the power to do that. Feeling your feeling, owning those feelings, and turning off that repress button will allow you to live the life you deserve and not just exist in the world. Remember that you can conquer anything if you acknowledge its existence. And the more we try to hide our feelings or put off dealing with them until some arbitrary future date, the more we will use unhealthy coping skills to bottle up our emotions. So sis, it's time to feel again. And I am right there with you, always. Because remember our motto, you are stronger than you give yourself credit and more blessed than you know. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to today's show. Please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Don't forget your free gift is waiting. Download the ultimate midlife guide, Beating the Midlife Slump, 10 strategies to help you boost your self-confidence, self-love, and self-care. Just click the link in the show notes to download your free copy today. Until next time, I am wishing you peace and love. Talk soon.